University of Seoul, and now we become good friends. So that's the advantage of being talkative and attending conferences, right? And also you get direct invitation to submit paper to special issues. I was in this I can't sure maybe in France attending a conference and met this old guy. Is that not the old guy? Actually, I know him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know he's an expert in my field. Professor Paul Williams, one of the pioneer in energy in the UK. Okay, so I go and talk to him. So we are good friends. Okay, and then after I come back from the conference, similarly in a week's time, I got an invitation to submit a paper to a journal called Journal of Energy Institute, Q2 journal. Okay, and then when I look at the editor's name, Professor Paul Williams. Oh, then only I know, oh, this is so interesting. Okay, from attending conferences. And yes, in the conferences, always good, not only in conferences, always good to expand your networking. So when you expand your networking and you know many people, you volunteer yourself, you tell them what you can do, your research interest, and then you are very eager to do it together with him or her, you will get all these things. Invite to join research leading to publications. Okay, like I have cases where I can't do SEM analysis in my lab, so I can send my samples to their lab. They help me to do it. So and then in the end, we publish papers together. That's just one of the examples. Or I can send samples to their lab. They can send samples to my lab and do analysis. Sometimes because of COVID-19, I can't run my research in Malaysia because we always have to stay at home sometimes. But I can send my samples to China, to Korea, and there they are allowed to do their experiments. So experiments and research are still going on. Okay, that's what I mean. Sharing of research facilities and networks is like what I said just now. So you can have your samples run at your collaborators' labs. Like sometimes I have some of my analysis that I don't have the facilities in UMT. I can send to UTP. Or UTP, they have a big lab full of facilities. So I send to them, and sometimes you'll be surprised. They will run your sample free of charge and very fast. You can jump queue sometimes, okay? Because of course, because you know them. That's what you know. Now I can also send samples to Dr. Sun to UTHM. If she's free, she can help me. She can also do the same by sending it to me as well. Okay. And yes, and another way of collaboration is, of course, you will get invitation to contribute to their papers. Like I said to you, professors are very busy, but at the same time, they have a lot of students. So sometimes they know, oh, this young person or this researcher is so nice, keep approaching me, keep telling me that he wants to help. So, okay, let me just give him a chance. Let's invite him for one papers to work on that papers. You'll be surprised, they will invite you, okay? And nowadays, not only they will invite me, I will also invite them. So it's a two-way interactions and a win-win situation. Yes, and another good way to start collaboration, this is what I would like to share, is sometimes when you talk about joint research, it takes some time because you need to do some experimental work or some analytical work. So the easiest or the fastest way to start a collaboration is to write a review paper together. Okay, some of you may say that my review paper is a very long paper, difficult to write. I didn't say you need to write a long review paper. You can write a short review paper, a perspective papers. You can do it, and I tend to have short review papers draft together with my collaborators, and we can submit a review paper within 4 to 6 months, and then get it published in the same year. So it's a good way. I have been through this, so I think it is a good way to write short review articles together. Okay, my practice. Okay, so how quality and quantity. Some of you may wonder whether I should go to quality publication, published in a good impact factor journal, or whether I should mass produce, mass publication in non-Scopus index or no index at all, or maybe at a low impact journals. So how should I balance out? I don't balance based on the impact factors and also the quota or Q ranking. I balance the papers from my research fields based on the quality. So I would judge whether a paper by hoping that that paper presents something new and interesting. When you have something new or interesting presented in your papers, the chances of getting it accepted for publication is definitely higher. Okay? So always when you write your papers, think of what is new, what is interesting. Yes, think is important. Write it out is also important. Check whether you really write out what is new and interesting. To me, and also to many researchers or many editors and many good researchers, if you write a paper by just presenting your results without telling us why these results are interesting and what's the significance, what's the contribution, then it is boring papers and I will reject your papers. Okay? So always think of you have written your papers or something and then check your title, check your abstract. Are they new? Did I write the sentences that shows that this is new or there are interesting findings? Ask yourself first. Okay? And I will avoid duplicate data and findings. I have reported this in this paper. Now I just change a little bit and I report in other papers. I mean, my team will not do that. I mean, believe me, this will go nowhere. Okay? So don't do plagiarisms and don't duplicate your data. Okay? Yes, you could have some data, but of course, if you can bring up some interesting or new findings, then that's a different story. But I will not report the same data, the same figure, and then I put in this paper, I put in another paper, hoping that people will not know. Believe me, the editors, the reviewers can find out as well. Okay? And yes, I always urge myself and also my team members, we are not good in English, but we are okay to write short and simple English. Okay? We are not like those native speakers who they can really write a long sentences but still very clear. Okay? But instead, we can write short and simple Englishes. When I say short and simple English, meaning don't write long sentences, don't write long paragraphs. So when sometimes, I mean, when I was back in the UK, my supervisor always said to me like, a paragraph, you should not have more than 15 lines, a paragraph. The better one would be 10 lines, just 10 lines in one paragraph. If you have longer than that, that means you can break into 2 paragraphs. That's what he said, okay? And a sentence that is longer than 2 lines is long. So when you have a sentence more than 2 lines, like you write 3, 4 lines, it's still a sentence. That means you can most probably break it into 2 or 3 sentences. Just sharing with you. Okay, the fourth point is very important to me. I mean, I have many mentors, including my ex-PhD supervisors, told me about this. They say, Lam, when you write something, always think about the implication. What do you mean by implications? Implication means the key finding, the key message. Why I need to know this? Why I need to present this? What's the interesting part? So how can we write out all this? When you write your results and discussions, you present your results and discuss your result, right? Okay, maybe you have a figure, this go up, this go down, this go flat, and then this increase, this decrease. Then, after you have written all this, ask yourself, so what? Why I need to know this? Why the audience, why the readers, why the reviewers need to know this? What is so important this? What is so interesting? So always ask yourself, so what? Then based on that, so what, you write out, okay, this thing increased, or because it increased, it can actually produce more of this. When you produce more of this, it can actually lead to many applications in this and that. Meaning write longer after you ask yourself, so what? Okay? So this is a keyword that I would like to share with you all. I mean, it is shared by my supervisors to me. So what? Oh, why I need to know? Oh, you have write the whole section on this. So what? What is so important about this? Why I need to know this? Then you write out more. This section is very important because it contributes to the physicists, or it explains the DQ mechanism, and from there we can learn about this. Okay? I hope you understand. Okay, English language editings and proofread. Nowadays, I mean, especially our students, they are very creative. I have students telling me that, oh, Dr. Lam, you can always have, we can have this software, Ginger, Grammarly, or something. You try and go and explore these softwares. Some of them are free to use to screen your simple grammatical mistakes. You will, you'll be surprised. These softwares actually help. Okay, right? Or I'm not sure. Maybe like Grammarly, like you need to pay for some fees, like monthly fees or something. But it's very cheap. Or alternatively, go and tell your supervisor, say, Prof, I think it will really help us to improve the English of our papers. Do you mind to, sponsor us for the monthly subscription of Grammarly for the whole research group? I have students asking me this. So, so in a way, I think being a supervisor, sometimes we can support this as well. I think it's not expensive like Grammarly. Like a yearly subscriptions may cost you like maybe 100 ringgit or something, and then all your students can use that account to screen their papers, and it will make your job easier, okay, and less headache as well. Okay, the other thing is, okay, your papers, right? Despite how good your English is, it's always good to send to your friends, your colleagues, with better or with good English proficiency for proofreading, or at least you get a second opinion. Ask them to read and see whether they really know what you're writing, or what your students are writing, or what your postdocs are writing. So it's very good. It's always good to do this. And yes, if you have enough resources, it's good. It's also good to send to some professional language editings if you have the budget or something to do that, or if that papers is really poor in English, it might be worth to do that as well. You can go for Elsevier language editage. I mean, why I'm saying this is because for some high impact journals, they will look at this as well. So it is advantageous if you send it to, let's say, send it to some proofreaders, professional proofreaders, and then they proofread your papers, and of course, in the end, hopefully improve the clarity of your manuscript. And then, when you submit your papers, you can attach the certificate of proofreading together to that, and it will add value to let the editors know that you have actually sent for proofreading, and it shows you some added value or added contributions that you are really sincere in submitting your papers, good papers with good English to their journal. So this will add value with you, but of course, provided that you have fundings, you have enough budget to support this. But the simplest way is to improve the English of your papers, the clarity, not saying the English, the clarity is important. It is many times of self-checking. So to this, I refer to students, postgraduates, postdocs, or even some researchers. Before you send it to your supervisors to check your manuscript, make sure you at least proofread, you at least check for a few times. I would say to my students, they need to check 3 times. After they have drafted their papers, they leave it for a while, they check one more time, leave it for a while, one more time, and one more time, 3 times. Then only they send it to me. We don't want students to send to us their first draft, meaning they have been spending days and nights. They finish that paper, and then straight away they WhatsApp and email to their supervisor. Don't do that. Most of the time, you will really make your supervisors having some headache, because there are many. It will not be a surprise that there will be many grammatical mistakes, silly mistakes, that you really don't want your supervisors to look at them, because you need to know that supervisors sometimes is just a normal person who can get very moody if you make a lot of silly mistakes in your papers. So it's good to have checkings several times of checking before you send a paper to your supervisors, and also to your co-authors, especially those excellent or outstanding researchers that you have invited them to be your co-authors. Then make sure you have produced your paper, revised your paper, do a bit of checking and revise again, then only you send to them. Okay, this is what I'm going to what I normally do is, so when I publish, right, I will always publish the papers within my field of expertise. So by this I mean that you need to know your field of expertise. What is your field? In my case, just now I said I'm a pyrolysis guy and I'm also a microwave guy, and I work on waste and biomass recovery. So most of my publications will have a focus on this. Okay, but at the same time, I also urge you all to be diverse. What I mean diverse is, yes, you will publish paper, do your research and publish paper in this area, but you will send to different journals. That's what I mean in diverse. Send your different journals so that you can promote your research findings, your work to different research community. You are working on your expertise, but you are publishing your research findings in different journals. Journals in environment, journals in energy, journals in, let's say, in chemical engineering, in maybe mechanical engineering. It's good that you publish paper in different journals. That's my strategy. So as you can see, like, I mean, I have papers published in different journals. Some of my papers I will send it to hazardous materials. This is more like a materials related journal. I send it to engineering journal, chemical engineering journal. I send it to energy journal, and a journal in the energy and fuel category. So be diverse in the types of the journal, and also the number of journals that you can try.